Hello and welcome to Paranormal Lens, hosted by Jott-Nyx Paranormal. I'm Kirstin Trucano, and joining me tonight are Chad Thomas and Jamie Widener.
Which one of us is tired tonight?
Yeah, me.
Wow. We don't do this every day, so I get it. But wow. Good evening, Kirstin. What's going on?
It's been a crazy past few days. My job, they every year in June they do what's called food show, and it's where vendors, customers, possible new customers, all of them kind of come in. It's a giant convention of just food. So I think yesterday I spent a good majority of the day making food and prepping and everything, and then running it today. So yeah, it's been a lot. What about you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just been busy. So I was on Stay Haunted last night, another podcast with some good friends. So yeah, that was a good time. We talked about the Clifton trip a lot, a good bit about that. They asked a lot of questions about the house I grew up in. So it was fun. It was a good time. Chris was there, and oh my gosh, I'm drawing blanks now again. The brain farts that happened last night to everybody. Todd,
Carmela, Audra.
no, it was a guys' night. Todd,
Okay.
Todd, and Chris and I ended up just the three of us. Kamala started out with us, but was not feeling well, so she stepped out, and we just had a good old guys' night, hanging out, talking. So Todd, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
That's very cool.
So yeah,
How can we find that? Early shameless plug time.
Stay Haunted on YouTube. So,
Okay.
Nice.
so check it out. Good group of people.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah, not much on my side, guys. So it's been a weekend of running around. You know, we're heading off to Vermont next Monday. So there was a lot of getting ready stuff. You know, things we need to get to stuff. You know,
Yeah.
but nothing major. So
Oh,
life is good that way.
yeah.
I got major news. So Saturday, Cassie started taking her first steps.
Aw.
Next thing you know, she's driving.
She's it's really funny. Just Saturday, she was all about trying to walk independently, and now the past few days, she's like, I'll stand on my own, but I want to hold on to something. If I can't, I'm just going to like do some squats. So we're trying.
It's progress. That really is cool.
Progress. Hashtag progress.
Todd was telling me last night that he has a hard time staying awake 2 nights in a row past 9 o'clock. That's his bedtime. So he managed to stay up tonight for the show. We appreciate that.
Perfect.
Oh, very cool. Hey, Todd. We miss you too, and we got to get out somewhere soon.
Oh, and I did forget. I saw Heather on Wednesday night. Penn Manor graduation was Wednesday, and I was running a camera for the crew. And next thing you know, there's Heather standing there. She was there because one of her friend's daughters is graduating. So it was good to see Heather in person.
And all of a sudden, there was a Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Bird.
So lots of comments tonight. We really appreciate the engagement. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
But anyway, what are we here for? I'm not presenting. Jamie, are you presenting tonight?
I mean, I could, I guess, but I don't think I know the subject very well.
Wait, is it my week?
It is your week, Kirstin.
Oh no.
Surprise!
Surprise. Man, I mispronounce or stutter over words when I'm not tired. It's going to be very interesting tonight. But speaking of that, I am already apologizing every time if I mispronounce some words. I know how some Japanese, like the Japanese language, how you're supposed to pronounce some stuff, but at the same time, I am not fluent in the language. So I apologize now.
Wow.
And because Jamie always hounds me, I'm going to start with my sources. I have them up. There is progress. So, my sources for tonight's little presentation and discussion are https yokai.moifa.org/lore/creatures, walango.com/blogs/news/Japanese yokai the ultimate guide, and then www.spiritjapan.com/blogs/ninja scrolls/the best Japanese yokai stories. So, we're talking about yokai.
Very cool.
Let me bring that up, and we'll get right into it. So, what are yokai? When most people hear the word monster, they imagine something evil that must be defeated. Japanese folklore approaches the supernatural very differently. Yokai are not simply monsters. They are mysterious beings that exist between the human world and the spirit world. Some are dangerous, some are helpful, and many are simply strange. The word yokai combines two Japanese characters that roughly mean bewitching and mysterious. Throughout Japanese history, people use yokai stories to explain things they could not understand. The strange sounds in the forest, unusual weather patterns, missing travelers, illness, and bizarre animal behavior were often attributed to supernatural beings. One of the most fascinating aspects of yokai is that they are rarely completely good or evil. A Kappa might drown someone who disrespects a river, but helped a farmer who shows kindness. The fox spirit might trick an arrogant nobleman while helping a poor traveler. Their actions often depend on how humans behave towards them. Yokai reveal a great deal about Japanese values: respect for nature, humility, caution, and social harmony appear repeatedly throughout these stories. So, the origin of yokai. The roots of yokai stretch back over thousands of years. Long before modern science could explain natural phenomena, communities relied on oral traditions and folklore. Ancient Japanese beliefs were heavily influenced by Shinto, the indigenous religion of Japan. Shinto teaches that spirits, known as kami, inhabit natural features such as mountains, rivers, waterfalls, and forests. While yokai, different from kami, they emerge from the same worldview that sees the natural world as alive and spiritually significant. As Buddhism enters Japan from China and Korea, additional supernatural concepts blend from local traditions. Over centuries, stories evolve and merge, creating a vast collection of yokai legends known today. During the Edo period, which is 1603 to 1868, yokai became incredibly popular. Artists began creating illustrated books depicting strange creatures from across Japan. One artist in particular, Toriyama Sekine, became famous for his cataloging dozens of yokai and giving visual forms to many creatures that have previously existed only in oral tradition. Many modern depictions of yokai trace back to his artwork. So we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the different yokai. First one we're going to start with is animal yokai. Animals occupy a special place in Japanese folklore because they exist in the boundary between the human world and the natural world. Many yokai legends suggest that animals grow wiser and more powerful as they age. Some eventually gain magical abilities, intelligence equal to humans, and the power to transform into a human form. Animal yokai often serve as reminders that nature should not always be underestimated. While humans may believe themselves superior, these stories suggest that animals possess hidden wisdom and supernatural abilities. The most famous animal yokai include the Kitsune or Kitsune, Tanuki, Kappa, and Bakaneko. So, the Kitsune, the fox spirit. The Kitsune is perhaps Japan's most iconic yokai. Foxes are highly intelligent animals, and Japanese folklore exaggerates these traits into supernatural powers. A kitsune gains wisdom and magical strength as it ages. According to some traditions, a fox grows an additional tail every 100 years. The most powerful kitsune possesses 9 tails. A common ability of kitsune is shape-shifting. They frequently appear as beautiful women, wandering travelers, monks, or even members of nobility. Many stories involve foxes tricking arrogant individuals. Wealthy merchants wealthy merchants may discover their fortunes vanishing overnight. Proud warriors may become hopeless, lost after insulting a fox. However, kitsune are not always troublemakers. Some serve the Shinto deity Inari and act as a divine messenger. These foxes protect rice fields, ensure prosperity, and reward acts of kindness. The dual nature of Kitsune reflects an important lesson. Power itself is neither good nor evil. What matters is how it's used. Next yokai we'll talk about is the Tanuki, the trickster. The Tanuki is often described as Japan's most lovable trickster. Based on real Japanese raccoon dog, Tanuki legends portray a creature as cheerful and mischievous and endlessly creative. Unlike foxes, those tricks can be dangerous. Tanuki's pranks are usually humorous. Stories describe Tanuki transforming leaves into gold and disguising themselves as monks, or creating entire phantom villages to confuse travelers. Despite their reputation for deception, Tanuki are generally associated with prosperity and good fortune. Restaurants and businesses throughout Japan frequently display Tanuki statues to attract customers and encourage success. The popularity of Tanuki reflects a cultural appreciation for humor and adaptability. Unlike many supernatural beings around the world, Tanuki reminds us that not every encounter with the unknown has to be frightening. And on to the next yokai, we have Kappa, the river monster. The Kappa is one of Japan's most feared and fascinating yokai. Living in rivers, ponds, and lakes, Kappa are often described as having turtle shells, webbed limbs, and a bowl-shaped depression on the top of their heads, filling with water. The water is the source of their power. Many stories warn children not to play near dangerous waterways by claiming Kappa may pull them underneath the surface. However, Kappa also possesses a strict code of etiquette. They are famously polite. If a person bows to a Kappa, the creature is expected to bow back. Doing so causes the water to spill from its head, weakening it considerably. This combination of danger and courtesy makes Kappa unique among most supernatural creatures. Folklore scholars believe Kappa stories may have developed partly as safety lessons to prevent drowning. To the next yokai, we have the Tengu, and they are the masters of the mountain. Tengu are among Japan's most complex yokai. Early stories portray them as dangerous demons that misled monks or abducted travelers. Over time, however, their image softened. Modern depictions often portray Tengu as mountain guardians, skilled martial artists, and wise teachers. The most recognizable Tengu possesses red faces and extraordinarily long noses. They are often associated with martial arts, swordsmanship, and spiritual discipline. Many mountain temples throughout Japan maintain legends involving Tengu. Some stories claim legendary swordsmen learned secret techniques directly from these supernatural beings. The evolution of Tengu demonstrates how folklore changes over time. A feared monster can eventually become a respected protector. I'm going to start real quick by saying I apologize if I butcher this next name. Tsukumogami, when objects come alive. One of the most unusual categories of yokai is the Tsukumogami. According to folklore, everyday objects that survive for 100 years gain awareness and personality. Umbrellas, lanterns, sandals, tea kettles, and musical instruments may all awaken and begin wandering the world. This belief reflects an important aspect of Japanese culture: respect for possessions. In many modern societies, objects are discarded without much thought. Tsukumogami stories encourage gratitude and care. Neglected objects may become resentful. Well-maintained objects may remain friendly. The concept blurs the boundary between living and non-living things and reflects a worldview in which everything possesses spiritual significance. Now on to one of the most known of the yokai, and that is the Oni, Japan's demons. Oni are often compared to ogres or demons. These enormous creatures possess immense strength, sharp teeth, colorful skin, and intimidating horns. Traditionally, Oni represent chaos, greed, violence, and selfishness. They often serve as antagonists in folklore and are used to personify human flaws. Yet even Oni are not entirely one-dimensional. Some stories describe Oni who repent, change their ways, and become protectors. One of Japan's annual traditions, Setsubun, involves throwing beans while shouting, "Demons out, good fortune in." This ritual symbolizes driving away misfortune and welcoming prosperity. The continued popularity of Oni demonstrates how folklore can transform abstract concepts like evil and temptation into memorable characters. Bert's going to like this one because mainly a woman in white. Yuki Onna, the Snow Woman. Among all yokai, few are as haunting as Yuki Onna. She appears during blizzards and snowstorms as a beautiful woman dressed entirely in white. Her skin is pale as snow, and her presence is often accompanied by freezing winds. Stories about Yuki Onna vary dramatically. In some versions, she freezes travelers to death. In others, she spares individuals who demonstrate kindness or compassion. One of the most famous legends tells of a young man who encounters Yuki Onna during a storm. She spares his life, but commands him never to reveal their meeting. Years later, after marrying a mysterious woman, he breaks his promise and discovers his wife is Yuki Onna herself. Rather than killing him, she leaves him forever. The story explores themes of trust, memory, and the consequences of broken promises. So, those are just some of the yokai decided to cover. However, there has been some more modern yokai, and yokai remains deeply influential in modern entertainment. Popular anime, manga, and video games regularly feature creatures inspired by the folklore, hensing how we have modern yokai. Um, Modern creators continue to adapt the ancient stories for contemporary audiences. In many ways, yokai are more popular today than they ever were before. So, yokai are more than monsters lurking in dark forests. They are reflections of humanity's relationship with nature, fear, morality, and mystery. Some warn us about dangerous rivers, others teach us about respect for our possessions, some challenge arrogance, while others reward kindness. Their stories have survived for centuries because they speak to universal human experiences. We all encounter the unknown, we all seek explanations for strange events, and we all tell stories to make sense of the world around us. Yokai simply give those mysteries a face, a name, and occasionally a very long nose. So that is what I have.
Very good.
Cool. I'm going to be the first to say road trip.
Road trip.
Why not?
Well, listen, I'll go back to Japan.
All right. Okay. So we say road trip, but which of the yokai are we going to go investigate, Jamie? You got to pick one.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. So the Yuki Onna, no, I don't like cold weather. Nah. We did talk about Tengu already in a past episode. So we kind of have that, at least a little bit of it covered.
I mean, Tanuki seems pretty fun.
Yeah, I think so. That's kind of where I was leaning at least, or Kitsune. With either of those. But I mean, any. Well, here's the thing, and this is probably just like a paranormal investigation here. You don't know what you're going to experience until you get there. So you have to be open to everybody or everything and
Right.
see what happens.
Right.
Nothing's on demand.
Yeah.
Right. But we get back to if you set intention, there's also that as well.
That's fair.
I
Expectation.
mean,
Sure.
I like the idea of, a Kappa, which has the strict code of ethics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that would be the
Courtesy.
easiest one to, like, trick and then be safe.
Yeah, but do you ever really want to trick a spirit?
No.
Yeah. Keep
and
the
then,
promise as well.
then there's always the ritual of throwing the beans in the air. I mean, you got to take part in that, right?
I would do that, yeah.
I would throw beans at you guys.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I might
wherever
now.
I throw the
Next time I see you.
beans, if I throw the beans at you, they're still being thrown.
Are they dry beans, wet beans? I mean, can we be more clear? Do they have to be out of the container?
I mean, if we got to take the road trip, and then we'll know what type of beans.
Fair enough. Some local sourcing. Okay.
All right. So Bert says he's huge on respect, so he wants to see that one. He can't remember the name. So that would be the Kappa.
That was the Kappa.
Yeah, and I'm gonna disrespect the Kappa for a second. I don't mean to, but as you were describing it, I was really thinking of a potential for the cause of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like that's what went through my head. Obviously, the difference in appearance with the not having the bowl on their head, but
Right.
martial arts, shell, stuff like that. It all kind of like maybe it's a few pieces of all of them into our pop culture here in the U.S. at least. That's been going on for a long, long time.
Well, again, here we go with that again. Here's something that's cross-cultural. Is that tied to some of these ancient spirits You know, has it all morphed together now that we're one global world?
That's a good point. You know, and there's a few things that I thought of. I lived in the southwest of the U.S., United States, for a very long time, and one of the things that I was thinking of with respects to the Tanuki is going into Native American culture, and there are quite a few things there, but um, and I'm drawing a total blank. I just had it in my head. My gosh, but the trickster there is so common in Native American culture, but it's become a part of us in overall culture as well. There's things, you know, and I think with ancient, you know, cultures like the Japanese have and the Native Americans here have, that you know we don't in the modern times have the understanding of the way they connected to nature, at least not the same way, and
Right.
how some of these are explanations of that. And Kirsten, you said it very well in the beginning about it. Um, you know, when we look back on this, you know, we kind of go, yeah, okay, that's kind of not possible. But in the time and the place in the world they were, it certainly
Mm-hmm.
could have been. It would have been. They had
Yep.
to explain things, and that's the natural way of doing it. And it's so cool it's carried forward this far.
Yeah. Paula has a comment here that says, I believe that shapeshifters are some that have passed on and then come back in a different form to carry on or seek revenge on those who have done them wrong.
Ooh. Well,
So,
that
Huh.
friend sounds like it should be an episode, Shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paula.
Jamie's got a new one down.
yeah, that's all you, Jamie. That sounds like
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I know the more I was like looking into it, it's interesting because like yokai. When I first heard about yokai, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like demons and things like that, and it's like no, it's like an overarching umbrella. Like, um, Jamie, you'd be way too old for this. High school, there's things called a website called Creepypasta, and it was actually had stories of like, oh, these Japanese kids and how they died, and now they're yokai that torture other people, and it's like, I was like, yeah, okay, I don't believe that. But then, like, when I started, like, again in high school, started looking more into yokai, it was no, there's actual ghost stories following what would be a yokai. So I think it's really interesting that in Japan, anything that's not explainable is a yokai.
Well, it's a good catch. It's a catch-all category, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of explains why there are so many of them as well. And yeah, we said this last week, but I think I can say it now too. I wish Jeff and Sean were with us, you know, as folklorists to kind of dig into this a little bit more. But
I
there
should have
is, they
reached
could be
out.
with us every week, realistically,
Yeah,
right?
I would have could have been like, hey.
So, but you know that is how expands. You know, it starts as the tale, and then the tale has to be told, and that's the important part, right? Like someone has to share it, and then the sharing begins by the context. Like it has a relevance. It has a hook to it, something in it that lets it carry forward. And then as it grows and expands, you know, this is I said this before, and I'll probably always say it, but it's like the telephone game or Whisper Down the Lane, whatever you want to call it, where you start over there with a thing, and
right.
by the time you get to the other end of the line, it's totally different, or not totally, but expanded upon. And you know, it's like a memory of every time you tell something, you're having a memory of the memory. So you know, it's not quite always the same. It's not a clean carbon copy, and everybody needs to hear when their own stories, right? So,
Yep.
you know, you expand, or not expand is not the right word, you expound on it a little bit to give it more oomph um, as you feel necessary for your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And we are natural storytellers. I think that's a fair point to say. You know, regardless whether you like to talk to people or not, we like stories and we like to tell them. And this is how this has moved so far along through you know all of time.
Yeah.
But it's in multiple cultures. You know, the oral traditional thing is so prevalent everywhere around the world, and it's so that's what I mean. We're storytellers. We've been doing this for eons of years.
All right.
So, yeah.
I do want to, before we move on, I want to share this comment because I think it's important. Bert is wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt right now. Thank you, Bert. How did I know that? I did not, but I'm glad you are. That's so cool. What's your favorite TMNT?
I like Raphael.
I'm a Donatello guy, but
Chad.
I
you
can't.
don't even know, do you?
Nope,
Oh,
exactly.
shame. You can just say I like them all. There you go.
Yes. The answer's yes. I will say it was very fun being in Japan. Um, my husband Alex and our friend Philip. Okay, that's acceptable. But Michelangelo is a good answer. But when we were in Japan, we decided to spend about 4 days out by Fuji, and we were maybe about like 80 miles from the, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, the Akihabara,
Aokigahara.
yes, forest.
That place. Yeah.
Yes. Um, the little village we were in, gorgeous, like surrounded by, like had a lake by it and everything. The energy there was intense. Like it felt very like it felt weird. It felt different than how it was when we were in Tokyo.
Right.
We we walked everywhere there too. I had a friend, yeah, Philip, he kept wanting to whistle at night, and me not thinking of yokai, my mind's like, what if this country has something similar to a skinwalker? So I looked it up. There is a yokai that is, you never whistle at night. However, it doesn't come to murder you. It just whistles back and scares you. Like, at least it's not murderous.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you were visiting there right around the time that Jamie did the episode on the forest.
Yeah, because you guys asked if I went and visited to come onto the podcast. Unfortunately, I got outvoted. I wanted to go. Neither of the guys wanted to, so it was like, okay. But we got to see Fuji.
Yep. That's cool.
That's worth it.
Oh yeah, Fuji was very much worth it.
So,
Well,
next-
go back to that episode for a second though, and it's like season 2 somewhere, folks. It's in our Spotify catalog library. It's on our YouTube channel somewhere back in the day, but it is the Aokigahara forest. One of the things I remember from that episode, at least in the research, is that there is a prevalence of the yokai in the forest, and it's like a safe space for them because it is that protected area. It's not developed. It's still wild, and it is a sacred space for many in the Japanese culture as well. It is uniquely different, and it's weird there because the forest grew on the lava flow, so a lot of the trees are misshapen. Their roots are above ground in a lot of ways, in a lot of places. So it is a uniquely different looking forest than what we're traditionally used to here in other parts of the world with deciduous trees and so forth. That, or even fir trees and so forth, where they have deep underground roots. So it's a weird place. It's a lot of things, and that helps add the spookiness to it, which helps the yokai presence be accepted or expected.
It really is. Cool thing of learning from a friend, Philip. He's a scientist, and he was explaining. He's like, because of where the lava was sitting and everything, is the reason why around Fuji it seems so quiet, because the lava rock is just absorbing that sound, and it literally around Fuji it felt like still.
right.
Quiet and still, and I'm like, it's really off-putting with how quiet it is. Like, we didn't hear birds or anything. We're like, this is odd. But I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Jamie, I believe that was season 1, episode 38.
Oh my,
So that goes way back.
Ooh.
that's a throwback.
Yep.
It's still one of my favorite episodes, by the way. If I had a top 5, it would be in it. So glad we did it. And you know, this is that cultural thing too. You know, um, the forest is old, and you know it's been there for the thousands of years that the Japanese culture has been there. So you know of that, and I really well to say that I'm going to say this. I thought it was really interesting in two uniquely different yokai. There's reference to 100 years for the kitsune. You know, every 100 years the fox gets another tail,
Mm-hmm.
and then for the so boy,
Tsukimogami.
you know, 100 years of a good of keeping something in good care, you know, it brings it to life or brings it animation, and that's you know that 100 is a fixed number there. You know, like it's twice, so it's a thing. I'm wondering if there's significance to that, you know, culturally, you know, and that's because it's a round number, of course, and it's a big number, but looking back over time, you know, that's a variable of 1,000, which you know, you can go into the depth of how long this has been part of culture.
Hmm.
If there's any connection there, it's curious. And why 100? Like that's a big number, of course, but why not 50 or 25?
It's hard to say.
Right. Of course. I mean, it's probably more of a rhetorical question, but
Yeah.
it is an interesting number. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
All in all, this is really cool, and
Yeah.
it's to me, it's at least a really good example of how uniquely different yet similar cultures are around the world. You know, Japan is, of course, an island, and it's isolated in a lot of ways. Had been isolated from the rest of the world in so many ways, um, but you know, and therefore everything got to develop uniquely as its own, without outside influences. But you know, there are again so many similar stories, at least you know, to the natural um, elements of the yokai to versus some of the Native American, and which would then turn you to other places of the world as well. So it's really cool.
Even the Celtic, I mean, they had the Kappa to warn kids about going close to water or else they'll drag you underneath. Celtic, they have the Kelpie. Um, yeah, no, not the Tanuki. No, the Tanuki, because they could shapeshift. And they were mischievous spirits and everything. There's so many other countries and areas that have mischievous little shapeshifters.
And the Native American one came to me. It's a Kokopelli,
Yeah.
Southwest. So that's again another part of the world that wasn't in contact with
Right.
what we call civilization, being the Europeans at this point in that time. In that point in time, being that where most of our ancestors are from, but it's so uniquely stretched around the world. You know, much like how there are pyramids in all places of the world as well, although these cultures never connected. Interesting.
Right. And
Must be the aliens, right?
aliens, yes.
Yes.
Yes. No, and this is again like when I was starting to research this, I'm like, this could be another one that's just multiple parts because there's so many different yokai. Like I picked the ones that were like probably the most notable or like known widely or easier to pronounce. There were some I was looking at the names and like I feel like I need a month of looking at that word just to pronounce it.
I think Chad and I are both laughing because we've had to make those choices too. Stuff we've covered, so I totally get it.
And there was a few where I was like, I know I looked it over. I know I've gone through of how to pronounce it, and I'm like, I may say this wrong now. So it's like, that's why I started at the beginning of I apologize right off the bat.
Sure. Well, there's grace and good intention.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not. It's not trying to mock or make fun of another culture. I'm sorry, but I just saw Paula's comment of maybe the fox grows more power every 100 years.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
I just shared a link. That's what I've been looking for. I just shared a link to the episode that we did on the forest. I'm not even going to try to say it. So,
Aokigahara.
yeah, there you go. That.
We just have Jamie pronounce all the very hard words, and we'll be fine.
I only had to say it like 600 times, getting ready for that episode. So,
I,
and I practiced it over and over. So, yeah, anything else I might not, I might fumble as well.
every time I'm gonna have to have a difficult word, I'm just gonna send it to you in a text, and I'm going to really hope and expect you to pronounce them on the podcast for me.
I'm going to say something here that may be a Captain Obvious moment, but isn't that what AI is for?
Well, I mean, not necessarily AI, but even just Google. You can look
Yeah.
Google pronunciations.
Nah, I wanna make Jamie work.
Fair enough. I'll give it my best.
Yeah, great.
What's the worst that can happen? Yeah.
We
There's
should
a lot
get
that
a,
can happen.
We get canceled, right?
we get canceled. We did, a
Cease and
comment from a
desist.
Japanese viewer.
Yeah, we're going to be very cautious.
Right.
Yeah, so,
But still.
but nice job, Kirstin.
Thank you.
Well, before we transition here, I want to ask you something. And with your time in Japan, and you have more experience than I do, therefore, and Chad does as well. Other in general, what would you say, with respects to culture that you experienced? What would you say is the stronger piece here, in the yokai? The presence is prevalent. You mentioned restaurants are protected, or at least looking for protection with the preference. And I have notes, and I'm trying to find where I was, but I lost it. But the presence there with good grace, and like kindness brings forward intention of good grace. It seems like if there's disrespect, then the negativity happens. Like, and maybe I'm not asking the right question, but it's what comes to mind. Like, being in at least in country with the time you had, it seems like it's a prevalent thing. And
Yes.
the idea isn't unique, though, in the sense of if you're kind, kindness comes to you, kind of thing. And
Right.
if you do negative things, bad things should happen. It's like punishment almost. But it's interesting to me. Like, but how is being how was it being the tallest person? You're fairly tall. That's why I'm saying this. So, you know, but what was your experience in Japan?
First, we were not the tallest people in Japan.
Okay.
Our friend Philip is 6'5",
Oh,
so he was the tallest person in Japan.
all right.
Um,
That's a misnomer, of course, but it's
right.
meant to be humorous.
Um, I think it was a very big culture shock to us of there's respect for everything. Like the people like younger people respecting the elders. They respected the land around them. Like there was no trash, no graffiti. Like everything was taken care of there. And I still think the biggest mind blowing thing to me was we'd be walking in Tokyo, very loud, very chaotic, and we just turn a corner and all of a sudden we're in a temple. And it was like quiet. Like I could see the cars driving and I couldn't hear anything. But there were people there, like we watched people go and do prayer and giving respect and offerings and everything at this temple. And it's like it blew my mind how much respect goes around there. Like I feel like I don't see that much. Like I mean, I walk around Lebanon and I see graffiti and I see like trash everywhere. There, if someone dropped trash on the ground, there's 20 eyes looking at that person to pick it up.
Mm.
So I feel like it's very much the respect is a driving force for the yokai. Like that's honestly all I can think of for that.
Did you have is Japan sort of like Singapore, where I felt safe walking around almost any time of the day or night. Like I didn't have to worry about whether it was 2 in the morning or
Uh-huh.
in the afternoon.
It
Walking down the street, I was not worried about being mugged or anything
no.
like that.
Um again, if I was at a cafe here, I wouldn't be leaving my $1,000 laptop sitting open on a table to go to the bathroom. I was watching people literally get up to go use the bathroom, and there's all their stuff. Like, no one messed with it, no one would touch. Um, I never felt in danger walking around, even at night. I felt completely safe. Um, really, people just kind of minded their own business. Even during like the nightlife time. I mean, me as a female, I see a intoxicated female there, and there's two guys with her, and I'm instantly like, I'm having to watch, because I've seen it where people try to take advantage, and it's completely respectful. Like, they literally were waiting for her to get into a cab to go home. So, yeah, I would say Japan's like Singapore. I felt completely safe there. Alex didn't want me walking around alone at night, and I'm like, I could walk. I'd be fine walking around here. I'd have no issue. So, yeah.
Cool.
I hope it answered your question, right?
Yeah, it did. And for me too. And and perhaps the reasoning for some of that is that they know the yokai are watching.
Yeah, maybe.
As a spirit, they're they're present everywhere. So your behavior is always noted. And I mean, that's really cool. That's why you should always make good choices.
Yes. Absolutely. Or you get a Yukiona after you.
Yeah, I don't want that.
So when are we scheduling the road trip? This is when we need the plane.
The week after next. I'm
Yeah,
not-
we need the paraplane,
Yep.
and
The GoFundMe site needs to be brought up to speed, and
I mean, Japan's fairly cheap too. Like,
I know Ben has traveled there and is planning on going back and really just enjoys it, like the culture and stuff like that, and just the cost is it's actually cheaper to go to the Disneyland in Japan than it is to go to the Disneylands in the United States, Disney World or Disneyland in the United States.
I'm so mad. I wanted to go to Tokyo Disney, and Alex is like, why? We can just go to Disney in Florida. I'm like, it's cheaper. That's the thing. Yes.
There it
We've
is.
been talking about it, road trip.
Let's do it.
But yeah, I mean, I have a friend, I think every year she does a trip to South Korea, and Alex and I were like, we could just do a yearly trip to Japan and be happy.
So, well, my son Ben's likes bicycling, so this year he's going to Amsterdam. He talked about going to Amsterdam and Japan in the same trip. I'm like, no, Ben, just do
Two separate trips.
enjoy your time. Take 2 weeks at each place. Like, do one this year, one next year. I think it would be rushing it trying to do that in one trip. So,
Wow. Think of the frequent flyer miles though. Holy cow. Like you said. Stefan sums up the whole Disney cost thing really well. That is messed up.
yeah.
Yes, sir, it is.
Honestly, I've seen some clips of the animatronics at Tokyo Disney, and I feel like it's worth it to go there. I'm sure the food is also delicious too, because everywhere else the food was delicious.
Yep.
Oh man, let's go.
Yeah, road trip. So Alex, we're gonna go to Japan again, but it's for paranormal stuff. So,
do they have? And I'm sure the answer is yes. They have a haunted mansion in the Tokyo Disney.
yes, they do.
I actually covered that. Speaking of callbacks in the Haunted Mansion episode.
I remember
so
Haunted
many
Mansion.
callbacks.
The detail.
There is literally one in every park. They're all different. style wise and content, but generally the ride itself is the same, but the outside and the setup is different.
I'm sorry. Heather's comment. Heather, we have skinwalkers and wendigos.
Heather, I think it's a whole different issue why we're not respectful in the United States at this point.
There's
And don't forget the Loveland Frogman's out there.
the
with his
Loveland
magic wand.
Frogman.
With his
The
wand.
Squonk.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot.
There's so many.
There's 50. There's at least one for every state. We
Many have 2 or 3.
Which will start in December on those episodes.
So.
Yep. We're gonna. Well, in 2 weeks we'll talk about one.
Yeah. And I can't wait.
A few weeks after that, we have another one, the Rougarou. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's plenty.
That is the biggest cryptid, Florida man.
Yeah.
Jamie, that's one of my topics. Don't take it.
We'll have to. We'll convey on this one. So. Well, and this is a bit different though. We're getting away a bit from the yokai in that they're physical spiritual thing to physical cryptids, and there is some spiritualness to some, and like I'm going to throw another throwback to the Mount Shasta episode where Bigfoot is considered an interdimensional being, therefore a spiritual being. And that's why he's visible and invisible at times. He comes between the dimensions of our visibility and our existence to another plane. And hence, that's why he's really good at hide and seek, right? But that, and then in a lot of the native culture, in the American cultures, there are things that are like Thunderbird, and that's another episode. I want to roll now. But that prevalence and position is really when it's needed the most by the person who is experiencing something. So it's a curious thing. Like we think of cryptids as being a physical thing that's out there lurking in the woods, or around the corner, and that is not exactly what I believe to say the yokai are.
No. I mean, the yokai are so ingrained in the Japanese culture. It is part of their daily lives, part of the religion, part of the, it is everything. Whereas we don't, in this country, half the people don't believe in a spirit.
Right.
It's I think that's the big difference. If you did a survey of 10 people, I think the numbers are creeping up of how many would believe that there was something paranormal or spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that it's much over 50%. So,
yeah.
Whereas that culture, it's in the high 90s of the people who believe in the spiritual.
Sure.
So
that's a key word, is culture, right? That is the fiber of your community, is the culture. And culture is different in all kinds of places. We think about it in workplaces all the time, but in our communities there is a culture as well, and that we are so uniquely diverse that way here in the United States, at least. That I think that's the point of your comment, is because of that diversity we have a uniqueness in our belief systems that doesn't have us have a common thread like it does in Japan and other parts of the world as well. That's interesting. That's a really good point, Chad.
Well, Kirstin, really nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more final thoughts before we move on to what's coming up?
Nope.
Okay.
Well done. Well done.
Definitely. Just throw Bert's comment up here before we move on. That's one thing I like about the Japanese culture. Their strong beliefs in anything they believe in. Which is a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so upcoming episodes. Next week is the Crescent Hotel, where the cure becomes the curse, where the curse could become the cure, one or the other. An interesting story here, so I will be digging into that. A hospital turned into hotel, lots of interesting things that happened there. Belief in the cancer cure that was not really the cure. So stay tuned. We'll dig into that next week. That's June 16th. June 23rd, I will be away. Alex will be filling in the technical seat here, and Jamie will be hosting the Fresno Nightcrawler. and Kirstin, Alex, and Jamie will be talking about that. Should be a good discussion. I'm gonna have to try to catch it live. Well, I will be watching a show at the time, so I won't be able to catch it live, but I will catch it as soon as I can.
Watch.
Then the week after that, Kirstin will be back from the Ashmore States and give us history and experiences. July 7th, we will be taking a break. I'm away for the week and volunteering at a summer camp, and it gives us a good time to reset, start a new season, and plan on what's coming up. July 14th will be Landol's Mohican Castle. It's not even a difficult word, and I stumbled over it. Then July 21st, the alien abduction of Barney and Betty Hill.
Yeah.
So, not Benny Hill. Bart. That's a whole.
That's a different thing.
So that one's interesting. That should be interesting.
Another strange case there, but not this one. Yeah.
So.
Recently, listened to a podcast on that, so I'm interested.
So.
This is one of the more famous and one of the older ones as far as the timeline of abductions.
Right. Paula just put a comment on your adventures. You should try automatic writing and see what you come up with.
We have dabbled in our time in investigations and so forth, as well as with scrying and a few other things. And you're correct. It's a very interesting thing to see what happens. I can't recall the exact situation. I know it was at Booby's Brewery, our former home base. Yeah, I agree. It's something we have to revisit.
It's an interesting thing. I started, a lot of times I'll have a notebook and a pen, because the one private that we did a few months back, I don't remember if you were there, Jamie, but Chad was there, in the well room. I remember I started writing runes in the ground. So that's something with investigations now I started doing, is having a notebook and a pen and just seeing what comes up. And a lot of times it's runes.
Interesting.
I've had some experiences with that, and not knowing that that's what happened until I went back and read what I wrote. And it was like, where did that come from? Like that. So, and I actually remember waking up in the middle of the night one night looking for a pen and paper. And it seems like the story of my life. I had just moved and things were still in boxes, so I didn't have any available, and I really wish I had, because there was definitely really torn, like trying to write something. There was something coming through, but so Paul said it's what I do, and sometimes I come up with some interesting results.
Yeah,
definitely worth trying. So we'll see what happens.
Agreed.
So if you want to reach
before
out,
we go though, too, let me say this real quick. Todd's comment about anyone going to see Disclosure Day, speaking of aliens and emissions from the government. So yeah, I plan to see it, but I'm not sure when. That looks very, very interesting. It's the newest Steven Spielberg film coming out in a couple weeks.
Cool. If you want to reach out and contact us, check out our team's website at Jott-Nyx Paranormal. It's www.jott-nyxparanormal.com.
There are two T's.
Two T's. Jott, sorry. -nyx paranormal.com. Or just search Jott-Nyx, it'll come up. If you want to email us, give us story ideas, tell us what you like, what you don't like, you can hit us up at info@paranormal-lens.com. If you want to check out all our social media links and things like that, you can do that at Linktree, which is linktr.ee/paranormal-lens. If you want to support the show, say thank you in a way that helps keep our costs down, you can do that at Buy Me a Coffee, which is buymeacoffee.com/paranormal9. Those are the ways you can get in touch with us. We love to hear from you one way or the other. Just reach out, just say hello. We appreciate it. So,
absolutely.
Connect with us on Facebook, YouTube, any of those ways. So,
yeah.
So
if you haven't done so yet, we highly encourage you to check us out on Spotify and follow us there, because our entire library, all 100 and however many episodes now, are back there. We mentioned a lot of them tonight. Not to to drag you there or take you there, but there is a backlog and a lot of interesting stuff we've covered through these last 3 seasons as we're wrapping up season 3 very soon. So give us a like there as well, or a follow there, and keep up and get caught up.
Jamie, we're at episode 157.
Cow.
Getting close to 200.
We're very close to 158, by the way.
Very close.
Next week we might actually hit it.
Maybe.
Surprise, it's going to be 157.5.
Kirstin.
Well, in 2 weeks, it might not be Paranormal Lens. It might be Ghost Stuff.
Ghost stuff. And then we're at the beginning.
That's episode 1.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah. You sure you want to go?
Are you sure you want to have Alex and I on a podcast together?
I'm not sure of anything anymore.
They outvote me at this point. So
Exactly.
Alex can turn things off.
We're going to do a 3-hour podcast on ghost stuff.
No. I'll have to jump in somehow and fix that.
The play is going to be over, or the show you're watching is going to be over, and you're going to pop in and go, they're still going.
Yep. So, all right. Well, we are hitting the top of the hour, so we should probably wrap it up. Or we've actually hit the top of the hour, so we should probably wrap it up. So tonight we've explored creatures that have fascinated and frightened people for generations. Whether you see yokai as folklore, cautionary tales, or glimpses into a hidden world, one thing is certain. These stories continue to captivate us because they touch on the mysteries we still can't fully explain. If you've enjoyed tonight's discussion, be sure to like, share, and follow Paranormal Lens for more journeys into the strange and unexplained. And until our next investigation, stay alert, stay respectful, and stay curious. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.